Week 12 of the NFL season has come and gone, so we will do a recap of how the AFC North fared and where the division stands after Week 12. Starting off with the still division-leading Ravens at 7-4. They lost 27-28 on the road against Jacksonville. The Ravens having 2 red zone drives in the first quarter, resulting in Justin Tucker field goals. The Jaguars would respond with a touchdown early in the second quarter, but another Justin Tucker field goal would give the Ravens the lead back. And then the Ravens defense would give up a drive at the end of the half, ending in a Jaguars field goal. The Ravens would be down 9-10 heading into the third quarter. Another Ravens drive ending in a short field goal in that quarter to build the Ravens lead back to 12-10. And then the Baltimore defense forcing a fumble on a Trevor Lawrence sack to end the third quarter, and the Ravens on that drive finally getting a touchdown after being in the red zone to go up 19-10 in the fourth quarter. But the Jaguars would respond with a touchdown drive of their own, including a conversion on 4th and 8 to cut the Ravens lead to 2. And then Gus Edwards would fumble, a nice play by the Jaguars defender there to punch the ball out. Ravens defense holding that drive to a field goal as they were pretty deep in Ravens territory when it started to make the game 19-20. And then Lamar Jackson would show off the arm in the Ravens' next touchdown drive, including the touchdown pass to a wide-open Josh Oliver, with Mark Andrews getting the reception on the 2-point conversion to extend the Ravens' lead to 27-20. The Ravens defense almost getting another strip sack that definitely would have changed the dynamic of this game. Instead, a 3rd and 21 turns into a 4th and 5, which turns into a first down after that is converted. And then the Ravens defense would give up another Jags touchdown to Marvin Jones Jr. And then at the seconds waning down, Doug Peterson deciding to go for it all, and a 2-point conversion would go to Zay Jones for Jacksonville to take the lead very late into the game, 27-28. The Ravens would get enough yards in, I think it was 14 seconds, to give Justin Tucker a 67-yard field goal attempt that just didn't have enough leg on it. It was definitely within the uprights, but not enough power on that attempt. Justin Tucker, of course, says he's going to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer, possibly the best kicker of all time. But 67 yards is a bit of a Hail Mary even for him. Defensive collapses late have been a theme for the Ravens this season. Obviously starting out in the very first game, I think it was against the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins are great now, but you never want to give up as many points as you did in that game, and you don't want to have these defensive collapses costing you games. But that's kind of the short-term cause of it. However, failing to convert on so many red zone drives earlier in the game, I think, was the more long-term contributor to this loss, kind of a death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing. And if you're going to miss that many opportunities that close to the end zone, most NFL teams are going to make, that's going to come back to haunt you against most NFL teams. And the Jaguars, well, they haven't been that good or that consistently good throughout the season. They have shown flashes of a competent team, and they play with a pulse. So that's kind of, the Jaguars are going to be a team that if you give them enough chances, there's a decent chance they'll make something out of it, and they did in this one. For the Ravens, their next game is at home against the Broncos, and they've been having a horrible season, definitely not meeting their expectations, and it's been just a downward spiral for the Broncos all year. So maybe the Ravens can dust themselves off and gain some momentum against the team that is definitely heading their seasons down the toilet at this point. Moving on to the Bengals, also at 7-4. This record with a win, winning 22-16 on the road against the Titans. No scoring in this game until the second quarter when the Titans would score a field goal, and then McPherson answering with a field goal of his own on the next drive. And then a screen to Derrick Henry would go for a really strange touchdown after Derrick Henry was stripped, but then a Tennessee Titan recovers it in the end zone to go up 10-3. Kind of a weird sequence in this game where this game went from no scoring on the board until and then 13 points the next 5 minutes in the second quarter. So a bit of the game going from 0 to 100 real quick there, and then the Bengals would go on a long drive to tie it right after the 2-minute warning. Samaje Perine has been an absolute workhorse in Joe Mixon's absence. I think he's been really good for the Bengals ever since Joe Mixon was out, and if Samaje Perine can keep this up, then that would be a great for the Bengals, especially if Mixon comes back and they get a nice little 1-2 punch going there. The Titans would miss a field goal before the half, and the game was tied at 10s heading into the third quarter. In that third quarter, the Bengals would go on another lengthy drive that ended in a field goal to take the lead 13-10. Titans responding with a field goal of their own, so we're tied at 13s heading into the fourth quarter. And in that fourth quarter, T. Higgins would go up and get a touchdown catch to extend their lead to 7. Titans getting a field goal to make the score 20-16 with about 6 minutes left. And with the Bengals attempting to kick another field goal to go up 7 with 1:57 left, McPherson does make it, but the Titans blocking the snapper way too soon, and the Bengals were able to run out the clock with a new set of downs as the Titans were out of timeouts. The Bengals now control their own destiny within the AFC North, at least for now. The Ravens do too, but the Bengals and the Ravens have a matchup at the very last week of the season, which could be very interesting depending on how the results of both of these teams' games go throughout from now until the end of the season. Obviously, the Bengals having the much tougher schedule, you figure that they have a much larger chance of losing one of those games than the Ravens do. But again, we just saw the Ravens lose in pretty bad fashion to the Jaguars. So the NFL's weird this year. Anything can happen. And the next game for the Bengals is at home against the Chiefs. I reiterate once again, the Bengals schedule much tougher than the Ravens schedule in the upcoming weeks. Now in the distant third, the Cleveland Browns at 4-7. They won 23-17 at home against the Buccaneers in overtime. I did already cover this one earlier, but in case you don't care, you missed it. The Browns defense was solid for pretty much the whole game, especially the secondary, surprisingly, and rookie MJ Emerson having a really nice game against Mike Evans. He's actually been solid all year for the Browns. I thought that both D lines had pretty good performances for both teams. David Njoku with the best catch of the Browns season so far on that fourth down touchdown catch with like 19 seconds to go or however long it was to force overtime there. And in that overtime, the defense once again holding strong. And Carlton Davis for the Buccaneers tripping. Looked like it might have been on the tire marks that were left by the employee with the golf cart earlier in the week on a huge reception to Amari Cooper. And that led to Nick Chubb's game-winning touchdown run. The Browns' next game will be on the road against the Texans. Coincidentally enough, that is when Deshaun Watson will also be returning, so I'm sure the fans in Houston will be. I'm sure the fans will be ready for that game. And if there's any game that the Houston Texans players are going to be up and ready for, it just might be this one with all the stuff that's gone on with that. And then we move on to the Steelers, who are also at 4-7. They win 24-17 on the road against the Colts on Monday Night Football. The Steelers turned their opening drive into a field goal and then getting an interception off of Matt Ryan. The Steelers looked to get 3 more, but a third down sack ruined that idea. And then the Steelers would get another field goal as the Steelers defense was suffocating the Colts at this point. Steelers field goal getting a funny bounce going in off the upright to go up 6-0. And then George Pickens with a great grab on their next drive. Pittsburgh going right down the field and Najee Harris punching it in 13-0. Then the Colts begin to show some signs of life offensively. They make a 51-yard field goal. And then right before the half, Kenny Pickett and George Pickens just barely miss each other on a touchdown throw, or an attempted touchdown throw, They end up kicking a field goal, and the Colts' long field goal attempt is blocked. It is 16-3 after one half for the Steelers. Kenny Pickett with a really solid half besides that last throw that I just mentioned that was just a bit too far. Pickens was able to get like his fingertips on it, but not much besides that. But besides that throw, again, I thought Kenny Pickett looked really poised. It was about as good of a half as you could expect from him. However, in the second half, the Colts would capitalize off of a great return with a Jonathan Taylor touchdown run, making it a one-score game early in the third, in a game that felt like the Steelers were kind of dominating, but the Colts with a couple nice plays, a good sequence, and they're right back in it. Colts getting a stop. They go on a long drive that ends in a field goal, but the Steelers would be off sides, giving the Colts a new set of downs, and it looks like the Colts were going to take that penalty and at least tie the game and get to the end zone, but they fumble a handoff at the 1, and Pittsburgh recovers. The Colts, however, would get a stop on that drive, and then the next drive they would end up finding pay dirt with a pass to Michael Pittman Jr. from Matt Ryan, and they go up 16-17 after the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, though, the Steelers would respond with a very efficient touchdown drive capped off by a Benny Snell touchdown run, and the Kenny Pickett-George Pickens connection converts on a 2-point try, 24-17. The teams trade punts, Colts failing a 4th and 3 on their final drive, and that will do it for the Steelers. They get another win, and their next game is on the road against the Falcons. I feel like the Steelers and Browns are kind of in a similar season scenario where you might see them, they're going to have the playoff graphic up there, and you might see the Browns and Steelers kind of near the bottom of in the hunt in 4-7. So they'll technically have a mathematical shot of making the playoffs for maybe some more weeks, the upcoming weeks from now. But I don't expect either of them to really make too much headway into that, even if one of these teams goes on a crazy run and wins out to go to 10-7. I'm not sure if this year, if 10-7 is going to quite cut it and quite get it done, but who knows? Weird things have happened. Again, the NFL this season is really strange. Like with this week alone, all the AFC North teams' records have a 7 and a 4 in there. There are no other numbers involved in the records right now. It's just 7 and 4s, just a matter of what's in the W and what's in the L column. So again, the season's been weird. It's very clearly become two groups in the AFC North, where you have the Bengals and Ravens fighting over the lead for the division, and you have the Browns and the Steelers, who are just they're just hoping to try to keep up in the race for that final wild card spot that the NFL expanded on a couple of years ago. And I still think that's been a horrible decision, but maybe one of these years a 7 seed will surprise the whole league and go on a Super Bowl run and make me look stupid for saying that. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. At least if either of these teams make that 7 seed, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this week. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you would like to see more like it. Let me know what you thought about the AFC North in this week down in the comments below, and I will see you at the next one.